Hey, lovelies. Okay, so I am about to go to an AA meeting. Not from me, even though some of you may think that I need it. I'm about to go as support for someone else. I have been to 2 AA meetings in my entire life, and both of them were as support for someone else. I think that when it comes to being an addict and needing help, the hardest thing you can ever do is reach out and ask for help, and then accept that help when it is given to you. One of my customers at work, who obviously shall remain nameless because AA is anonymous, confided in me yesterday, and I said, if you need someone to go to an AA meeting with you, I am there for you. Many years ago, I myself was an addict. And the thing about recovery is that you will almost always be an addict. But for me, the difference is that I don't have the urge to use anymore. I haven't had the urge to use in a very, very long time. That's the thing about recovery, is that it takes time. There's no magic pill. You can't just stop doing it right now and then it's all done and over with. It takes more than that. I very openly talk about my drug use. I very openly talk about abuse on one level or another. And I think it's because so often people just don't talk about it. And I don't think that there's anything to be ashamed of. So what? I did cocaine. So what? I did ecstasy. So what? I put ecstasy in toilet paper and shoved it up my bum. Who cares? Am I still a good person? Of course I am. My past or my present don't dictate who I am as a person. I dictate who I am as a person. And whether or not that's me using drugs or drinking or whatever, it's still my job to dictate who I am as a person. You can judge me all you want. You can sit there and go, well, I've never done any of those things and I'm just so much better than you. And you can think that all you want. I think that everybody is better than someone else in their own way. And if you want to sit there and be like, I'm so much better than you because I don't do drugs, remind yourself of this. We all have our fixes. We all have things that make us happy. Whether or not that's getting upset and eating, whether or not that's getting upset and shopping, whether or not that's being happy and shopping or being happy and eating, that's your fix. Some people need other stimulants to do that. It took me a very long time to be able to get away from those 2 different scenarios and what I thought was right and wrong. I was explaining to my customer last night, it's about having that moment where you have a really bad day and you go, oh fuck, I need a line of Coke. And changing that moment. It's about changing that moment in your head into, oh fuck, this is such a bad day. Okay, well, relax. Tomorrow's going to be better. Don't worry about it. It's hard. Getting over those first couple of times of reintroducing your brain to a new way of thinking is really difficult. We were talking about our animals. And my customer said to me, well, it seems that when I use, my animals are just all around me and they just want so much attention. And I said to them, did you ever consider that maybe it's you that needs the attention? Did you ever consider that the reason why your animals go into that mode of protection and wanting to be around you is because they think you need the protection. They think you need the attention. It's food for thought, lovelies, and I am so grateful that I am able to do this with my friend and customer, of course. When I come back, I will do an update. I will tell you how the meeting went, obviously without giving out any names, because again, it's anonymous. But I will tell you how it went. I sincerely hope that my openness when it comes to addiction has helped you in some way. Maybe helped you come to terms with your own addiction, or maybe helped you realize that maybe you have addiction. If you need me, as always, I'm right here. I'm here, right there. Just comment. If you need someone to talk to confide in, just comment below and I will make sure that I am available to listen or or to read, I guess, because it's online, so it's reading. As always, I will catch you in the second part of this video. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey, lovelies. Okay, so I just got back from AA, and I have to tell you, as odd as it sounds to use this terminology, AA is a very sobering experience. You know, like I said previously, oftentimes we don't talk about addiction. Unfortunately, there's something inside of us and in society that says, oh, you know what? If you're having problems, keep it to yourself. Don't talk to anyone. You're just going to burden them. And I think that one of the key things about AA, from what I got tonight, was that no, you need to talk about it. It's not about burdening someone else. It's about releasing yourself and allowing yourself to talk and therefore learn from what you just went through. Does that make sense? I'm really sorry. I just smashed my elbow on the thing, and I'm like, my fingers just went numb. Ow. Sort of takes away from that very serious moment we just had, and I'm so sorry I wasn't meant to. Fuck, that really hurts. Look, it's all red. Ow. But yeah, like, the thing is that, like, you know, we as a society, we lay so much guilt and blame on everyone. Oh, you are on welfare, you should feel guilty. And, oh, you're an immigrant, you should feel guilty. Oh, you do drugs and you should feel guilty. And, oh, you're an alcoholic, you should feel guilty. The thing about it is that if we never talk about these things openly and have actual real dialogue with people, how are we supposed to know that it can get better? And because we don't talk about it. We're a shame-based society that doesn't talk about anything that can be fixed because we're taught to be shameful of those things. When I talk openly about my drug addiction, listen, I will tell you, in 2001, I was living here in Toronto, and I moved in with a friend of mine who was a drug dealer at the time, and gave me copious amounts of drugs. And I'm not talking like he gave them to me, like he was like, here, take them. I asked for them. And we partied and we did things called trail mix, which is where you mixed Special K with ecstasy and cocaine and crystal, and you mix it all together and you crush it all up together and you did lines of it off of a mirror. I remember this one time, it was actually a girl's birthday, and we that's what we did. And the thing is that I was evicted from my home. I was homeless for 2 months. I moved in with my friend, and I started using. I started using as a way of coping with what was going on in my life. And that's what we do, right? Because we don't talk, we cope. And because we're only coping and not actually digesting what we're dealing with, we tend to use outside influences to help us cope, i.e. alcohol, drugs, smoking, or shopping, or any of those other things, because we are made to feel guilty and shameful because of having an addiction, or because of having some sort of proprietary to something that doesn't fit into the idea of what society says is the norm. I remember one time actually outside of a theater on King Street. I remember I met this guy at a place called Limelight, and I had seen him at all of these other clubs, and I had the worst crush on him. And finally at Limelight, he finally paid attention to me. And the first thing out of his mouth was, do you want to go and do a bump of K with me? And I was like, okay. I was so into him, and I was so enamored with the idea that he had finally paid attention to me. I had seen him so many times, and he had walked right past me. And then we got into the alleyway, and I did a bump of K, and I fell into a K-hole instantly, and he left me there in the alleyway. I woke up about an hour later, and I had actually, like, it was the weirdest thing. Like, I had not just fallen into a K-hole, but I had actually passed out. I woke up about an hour later, and I was so disoriented I couldn't move. I probably sat in that alleyway for about an hour, and the sun started coming up. And this was at King Street, by the way. King and John in that general vicinity, or actually King and Simcoe Street, oddly enough. And my friend Adam was in a hotel past Bloor Street, up near where a casting agent is that I know, and I did the walk of shame in a pair of high heels, middle of the day, about 8 o'clock in the morning. At the time in 2001, I was wearing a wig. It wasn't my real hair, so my makeup was a mess. My hair was a mess. I was fucking high on drugs, and I walked all the way down Yonge Street, thinking that I looked fierce, and finally got to my friend's hotel room, and we did more drugs. Even after I had just passed out, we did more drugs, and yeah, it wasn't great. I had moments where I was in the middle of a sexual encounter with someone and I passed out. That guy that from the Limelight, we hadn't actually started really doing anything yet. We just were making out and stuff, and so that happened. But yeah, like, these are moments of my life that for some reason people tell me I should be ashamed of. I'm not ashamed of them. I'm just not. And the reason why I'm not ashamed of those moments in my life is because I learned something from them. I became the woman I am because I fucked up as a kid. Because I allowed myself to fuck up as a kid. Now, I'm not telling you should go out and do drugs. Pardon me. I'm not telling you should go out and drink. I'm not telling you should do those things. All I'm saying is that whatever coping mechanism you decide to use in your life, it's a valid coping mechanism. And how dare anyone make you feel guilty for that, or make you feel shamed for that, especially society. I mean, society is the worst dealer of all. They make you feel that if you're not thin enough, or you're not pretty enough, or you're not this and you're not that, then you're not worthy. So what are we left to do but abuse substances to make ourselves feel better about ourselves, because we're constantly bombarded with these images that make us feel like we are subpar to everyone else. It took a really long time for me to get to a point where, as I've said many a time, I could look in the mirror at myself naked with no inhibitions and be very proud of the person I look at. Have I fallen? Of course I have. Of course I have. What's that old saying? To err is human, to forgive divine. Of course I've fallen. I'm not perfect. I am, whether you believe this or not, actually just human. And yeah, I'm just human. I fuck up. I fuck up all the time. I make racist jokes. I make homophobic jokes. I make transphobic jokes. I make inappropriate jokes all the time. I fuck up on a regular basis because I'm human. And that's just me. My friend tonight said to me that they didn't feel alone after me going to AA with them. And I said, was my honor to go with them, because I feel like that's what you do when, you know, like, I remember when I was recovering, and I remember when I was cleaning my life up, and I remember how lonely it felt. I remember because everyone around me was an addict, and it was difficult. I remember actually, 2 summers ago, 2 prides ago, I was out with some friends, and I will never forget this moment of my life, where these 2 friends of mine who knew I had sobered up and I wasn't using and whatever, they were going to a house party where they knew there would be drugs, and they were like, you know what, Samantha, we don't really feel comfortable with you coming because of all the drugs that are here. And at that moment in my life, I will say that I was 100% grateful to them. And you know who you are. Yeah. You know who you are. And I was at the time grateful to them. I was a little bitter, of course, because I was like, oh, I can be like my own person. You don't need to babysit me. And then at the end of the day, I became grateful because it meant that these people cared about me. These people that barely knew me, but they cared enough to be like, you know what? This party's gonna be full of drugs, and you're obviously drunk or whatever, and we don't want you to be around them because we don't want you to fail. And I'm saying this to my friend. I don't want you to fail. I'm here for you. I'm saying this to all of my followers out there, my fans, my friends, and maybe even family that's watching. I'm here for you. I'm here the way they were here for me. And I feel like I'm babbling now because I'm so terrified that I'm not going to get my point across and that I'm going to sound stupid, and yet inadvertently I keep talking so I can't stop. I just feel like it's within us to help, and so we should. I love you all so much for watching my videos and for listening. Let me know what you think of the new lighting, because I finally broke down and bought some, I spent an incredible amount on LED lighting to, because I wanted to start giving you all better quality videos, and so I feel awkward. I don't know why. It's my YouTube channel and I feel awkward. I love you all. That's all I can say. I thank you, as always, for watching. It means the world to me. And I'm gonna hand this off to my very dear, very, very, very dear friend, Thomas.
Hello everyone, my name is Thomas Baylog. I want to remind everybody to comment, share, and subscribe.